Hi.
Hi. Oh, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm
Thank you for
excited to be
doing this.
here.
Oh,
Of
yay. It's
course.
so good to see you.
Good to see you too, as always.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. How are you?
I'm good. It's snowing outside my window. So,
Oh, nice. Well, it's raining here in California.
yeah,
So,
it's a wet day.
a nice day to be inside.
100%. A nice day to be inside. I'm having my tea right now and
hmm
just being cozy. And I'm so excited for this conversation.
Yeah, me too.
So, for those of us who are joining, I think it'll take a couple minutes for people to join, but I do want to start by just giving a little bit of an introduction to who you are and what you have to offer. And also, I think it'll be really amusing to people to know how we know, for them to know how we know
Right,
each
our
other.
background story.
So, but like before we get into that, why don't you just give us a little background about who you are and what you offer?
Awesome. Yeah. Well, my name is Natalie Schlute. I have a lot of trainings in my background, everything from life coaching, hypnotherapy, neurolinguistic programming, a lot of intuitive work. I've worked with psychics to help develop my own psychic skills, and then also a lot of meditation, a lot of study in the law of attraction. And I've kind of combined everything that I know, everything that I've learned to help people heal and move forward with creating whatever dream life you want to create, whether it's manifesting a career, relationships, better health, wealth, all these different things, because I personally truly believe that we come to this life not just to work and to go through our daily drudgery, but to create. We are all creators and we are co-creators of our life. So I want to help people create whatever they want to create for themselves. And there's so many areas of our life that we can expand and be a part of manifesting something beautiful in the smallest things, in the everyday things even. And so that's kind of what I'm about. I have coaching services, I have online courses, and a lot of guided meditations that I sell as well. I'm working on a book right now, so got a lot of fun stuff going on. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Well,
Mm-hmm.
congratulations on your book. I feel like that's such a big feat. I've been working on my own for some time. And to
Right?
just, yeah.
Yeah, it's I need to focus a little more on manifesting the consistency with working on it, because it has been in the back of my mind for years now. And it seems like there's always something else that comes up that you could be working on.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that is something, 2020 goal is to
Yeah.
finish that book.
Well, I will read it as soon as you're done with it. That sounds really amazing. And yeah, so Natalie and I know each other because Natalie was first my dance teacher at a
hmm
drama camp at Girls Inc. in Carpinteria, California, our
Yeah, about
hometown.
20 years ago, I think. Now, close
Definitely,
to.
yeah. Yes,
hmm
it would be 20 years ago.
Oh my God, that's
I
so
know, it's
crazy.
wild.
I can't believe it's been that long. I feel like it was just yesterday.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's bizarre. But like, I mean, that drama camp specifically, like obviously that's how I know Jill, and we're still so close today.
hmm
And Sierra, who's still one of my best friends. It's just like amazing how this like one little moment in time created these lifelong connections. And
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
we have
that
no
was a
idea.
huge, it was a huge memorable time in my life, because that was my first job, was teaching dance
Oh,
at these drama camps and doing something that I love when it involved acting and dancing and all this fun creativity. It was a huge pivotal point in my life for me as a teenager, be able to do that, do something you really love and make money at it. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think, because then Sierra and I, so for those of you who are watching, Sierra was my age, like my peer in this, and Natalie was the dance teacher. And then we both went on to take on the same roles that you and Jill
hmm
had. So I taught music and Sierra taught dance. It was just so cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, here we are 20 years later. That is just wild.
It is. It's pretty wild.
And we both have our own businesses,
hmm
and we're both very into manifesting. So I would love to hear what your definition of manifestation is.
Manifestation, if you actually look at the definition, it's literally just taking a concept, an idea, a spark of something, and then having it be created in your reality. So it's taking any dream that you have and making it real. making it
Mm.
tangible and making it something that is present in your life. That's as simple as it is. And everyone is good at manifesting because everyone is manifesting all the time. The law of attraction is always working. It's not like you turn it on and off. You are manifesting every moment of every day. It is a process that is constantly happening. The difference is, are you conscious about it? Are you intentional about it? About what you're creating energetically with your emotions, your thoughts, what you're projecting out into the world? Or are you just going on autopilot and living your everyday life and not really paying attention to what you're creating? Because you're always creating. You are the co-creator of your entire life and your entire reality.
So, what would you say to people who are just introduced to this subject for the first time and want to start manifesting? Like, what do you think the first step is?
The first step is really getting clear on what you want to manifest into your life. What do you want more of? And sometimes that's looking at what you want less of in your life, and that may be emotions, it may be certain relationships, it may be about your finances, about your career. It could be a lot of different things, your health. So first you have to just become aware. What am I experiencing in my everyday life, and how would I like it to shift? What would I like to have more of? What would I like to have less of? Because you don't know what to create until you are clear on what you want, really. And even if you don't have a lot of clarity, that's okay too. It's really about being more intentional with who you're showing up as every day and who you're being. It's really easy to get in a rut where we just live day to day and we think that life is happening to us, and then we're just reacting. We're reacting to every conversation, to things that are going on at work, to things that are going on at home. And it's so easy to just go on autopilot and just be like in reactionary mode. And when you're doing that, you're not being intentional with what you're manifesting. So it really starts with just awareness of who
Mhm.
you are and what you want out of life. That's
Yeah.
step one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually really agree. I think in order to start manifesting, you do have to have a vision,
Mm-hmm.
and not only have a vision, but be very aware of your values. I think it's like, yeah,
Yes.
a value system needs to be in place.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think so many people act out of alignment with their values, and that's really where a lot of disturbances and disruptions are created. For those kinds of people who are, so maybe somebody can like see the vision of what they want,
Mm-hmm.
um, and they really like, let's say somebody really wants to, has like a goal of like, I don't know, running a marathon.
Mm-hmm.
They want to run a marathon. Not my goal.
Not mine either. That's okay.
Yeah. I like this as a goal because it's like it takes a lot of perseverance to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they're like just not sure how to manifest like the will to get up and practice, right? Some of it
Mm-hmm.
is like about manifesting just even this first step of like going on the jog. What do you say to those people?
That's a really great question. So, when it comes to deciding what you want to create in your life, we can manifest things in different ways, right? Like, let's say I really want Mexican food for dinner. Like, I can manifest it by actually going on the line, ordering it, and going and picking it up. Or I can tell my husband, hey, let's go out to dinner, and we can physically take the action and go do it. I could also manifest it by, say, my husband's at work and I'm at home and I'm just thinking, God, Mexican food would be great tonight. And then I just have that intention and he goes and picks it up without me even saying anything. So some
Mm,
things we can manifest through our intention, through our awareness, and through our energy. Other things we actually have to get up and do something. Like if you want to
mm,
manifest a business or a specific career, well, you can't grow a business or become an actress if you never go out on auditions or if you don't actually physically build your business. Those things aren't going to just come to you out of nowhere. You have to take some action. And so with something like getting yourself motivated about doing a marathon, you need to get some leverage on yourself. Like, first of all, is that really in alignment with your values? Is it something you truly want? And why do you want it? You have to get clear on your why. Because
mm,
if you want to do it because, oh, your friend's doing it and you're lazy and you know you should do something, but it's not a passion of yours, then it doesn't matter how hard you try. It's never going to be something that you do. But if it's
Mm.
something that you've dreamed about for years, like you have dreams of yourself running and you know you feel good because you used to be a runner in high school and you haven't been feeling great about yourself and you know you need to start moving and you know it's going to be great for you and it's like in your heart, it's in your soul to be a runner, well, then you have some leverage on yourself. Then you need to start doing some of the inner work to get leverage on that. Looking at what are the consequences if I don't go out and do that marathon because it's in my soul. I have to do it. What are the long-term consequences? Am I going to continue to feel like crap? Am I going to continue to feel bad about myself? How is it bleeding over into every area of your life? Because you're grumpy and moody because you haven't exercised in years and you know how good you could feel if you did. Well, how is that affecting your relationships? How is that affecting you when you show up every day in your life? Finding the leverage, like the negative effects can really help boost you and get you motivated so that you can start to take action. But it needs to be in
Mm.
alignment with you in the first place, like something that you really desire and want. And then you have to get that leverage on yourself. And there's lots of ways you can program your mind and your body to get you moving. There's lots of little tips and tricks to changing your habits as well. Say you're going to run every morning. If you just get up and do it, you'll do it. Well, you need to set yourself up for success. Get your outfit out, lay it next to your bed, put your phone or your alarm clock all the way across the room so that you have to get out of bed first thing in the morning. You have to put those clothes on because they're sitting there. And don't give yourself more than 3 seconds to say no. Don't allow yourself to talk yourself out of it. You have to have this dialogue sometimes with your ego, your subconscious mind. It wants to keep you in your comfort zone, what you've been doing the last couple of years, which is not running and not prepping for that marathon. And so it's in the beginning, it can be really hard to change your habits in order to manifest something that you want. But once you do it, a few days, a few weeks, it starts to get easier and easier. And then you build a new habit. And all of a sudden, you're back to your happy old self that's feeling good and exercising and on the way to reaching a goal that you've had in your mind for who knows how many years.
Mm. I love that. That was so good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was amazing. I really hope that people are soaking this in because when you are getting into manifesting and you are really starting to tap into that power that we all have, it can be so magical and amazing. So other than like achieving the goals that we have in place, what is the benefit of manifesting?
The benefit of manifesting. Well, there's different ways you can look at it because, like I mentioned in the very beginning, we're always manifesting. So it's something that
Right.
you're always doing. The benefit of being intentional with it is that you become the creator of your life. You no longer are the person that's just responding to life. You're actually actively creating your life, which means you can do anything. You can create anything you want. If you can find even one person on the planet that has reached the goal that you vision for yourself, if it's possible for them, it is possible for you. So you actually take more control over your life, over your own emotions. You take control over your own thoughts in the process, and you take control over your actions, and you create your destiny. Your destiny is not predetermined for you. We have free will. So every single day you wake up, you show up, and you choose how you're going to live your life. Most people just show up and they're on autopilot. So they're just living their life however the heck it's been for however many years. But when you choose to be intentional about what you're manifesting, it becomes this process, this evolution of you as an individual, an evolution of your soul, your purpose, your passion, your mission. And you create whatever you choose to create. And for most people, it's going to start with feeling better, loving your life, doing more of the things you enjoy, choosing to feel good about your body, making healthy choices for yourself. And I love your message, the self-love lifestyle, because that is where it starts. If you don't love yourself, you can't manifest anything. You really can't. Like it starts with loving yourself enough to show up every day for yourself, to show up every day and choose to manifest something just a little bit better than you had yesterday. Choosing to slow down and pay attention to your body, a little bit more, pay attention to your dreams a little bit more, and choose to take some sort of step every day towards that. It's going to look different every day, but that's the process. Like, you open yourself up to creating anything and everything you could ever want in this one lifetime.
Mm. Oh, so magical. I feel
It
like
is.
just talking to you, I feel I'm like expanding. I'm like, yes. There's like have you heard, I'm sure you know about this, but like the concept of like, of expanders in manifesting, where like you surround yourself with books and people and ideas and conversations that expand your idea of what is possible for you.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And that's really what manifesting does, right? When you start to learn about it and you start to apply it, you actually start to take action in your life around it, you expand exponentially. Like, your life changes, the people you associate change with, the way you feel and the way you interact and the way you respond to every conversation and everything that happens starts to shift. And so little by little, all these baby miracles start happening every single day in every area of your life. And you expand. And that's one of the laws of the universe, is everything is always expanding. So as a soul, we are always expanding. We are always growing. And we start to grow a lot faster when we're intentional, right? When we're actually deciding, I'm going to be intentional about what I'm manifesting. I'm going to be intentional about what I'm creating today and in this moment. And that's really all it's about.
Yeah. What do you think gets in the way for most people?
This one is actually fairly easy, this question, because it's the same for all of us. It's our ego. And our ego is this concept, this voice that we all hear in our head that was created from the time we were very young. So it's really a reflection of your subconscious mind and all the old programs that you have built. And you didn't know you were doing it when you were a kid. You didn't realize you were building this voice of the ego. You didn't realize you were taking in all this information and making assumptions about how hard it is to make money. And, oh, I can't do this because I'm too young, I'm too old, I'm not good enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not this enough. We don't realize we're being programmed with all these ideas and these thoughts that hold us back. But that's really what it is. And when you understand that your subconscious mind and your ego, and some people even call it the inner child, is the foundation of everything that holds you back, it starts to lose its power, because you're able to see it for what it is. You can actually approach it and have conversations with it and say, I'm not going to listen to you today. I'm not going to listen to that voice that says, go back to bed, don't get your running shoes on and go out the door. You can start to approach it and change it. You can actively change your subconscious mind. You can actively change the voice of your ego to support every new habit you want to create, to support everything you want to manifest. And so it's not as hard as people think, but it does take a lot of persistence and consistency. It does take some work in the beginning, and then things start to get easier and easier. And talking to that voice of the ego or your subconscious is only one way. There's a lot of ways to dig into your subconscious mind. I do a lot of hypnotherapy and a lot of guided meditations specifically to help people shift that inner voice to support them instead of hold them back. Yeah, so a lot of people just let that inner voice take over, and that becomes the autopilot. That's where they get stuck in a rut, because they're not realizing that that voice is separate from them. It's just this inner dialogue, and you just go with it. And then you wonder why you're getting into arguments with everyone, or that voice keeps telling you to sit on the couch and watch Netflix instead of work out or work on your business, or, go make a healthy dinner. It's this little tiny thing, but it's always there. We actually have around 70,000 thoughts a day. Okay, like, just take that in for a moment, because that's a lot of thoughts. Like 70,000 thoughts. That's what holds people back. It's whatever those voices are telling you. That's what's holding you back.
It's overwhelming me.
It's really overwhelming. And then the crazier part is that of those 70,000 thoughts, anywhere between 85 to 95% of them are the exact same thoughts you thought yesterday and the day before and the day before that. So that's where when you understand how the brain works and how the mind works, it seems like a crazy rabbit hole in the beginning, and it's a lot to take in. But once you get it, it makes sense. Like, no
Yeah.
wonder we get so stuck in our habits and in our rut and in the same old cycle that we're in all the time. It's because it's on repeat. It's like watching a TV show and it's just on a loop,
Yeah.
right? That's what's happening to us. And that's really what tends to hold us back and take control of us until we become intentional and we
Yeah.
choose to do something about it.
Yeah. And I was actually just watching before our live, while I was having my lunch, I was listening to a workshop about family constellations. Do you know family constellations?
I don't.
It's a type of therapy that, I mean, all of the language that's used would be very familiar to you, because it's really about like how our family and the generations
Mm.
above us impacts our subconscious mind.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, the belief systems that maybe even it's not an experience we've personally had, but it's an experience our parents or grandparents or some other caretaker in our family has had, that then gives us that same belief system. So I just wanted to mention that because I was thinking about that earlier, and I've definitely experienced that in my own life as well.
Definitely. And then to take it a step further, our parents, they kind of we are watching them when we're children, and we don't have analytical thought when we're really small. So we're just kind of absorbing all of their bad habits, all of their bad patterns, all of their insecurities and beliefs that hold them back. But not only that, it's in our DNA. Like you said, it's in the cellular structure of the cells in our body because they've been passed down from generation to generation. So even if you never met your grandparent or your great grandparent, you might be holding a vibration, an energy, something that was out of alignment with them, and it was passed down through the cellular structure of your own body energetically. And then
Yeah.
if we get even deeper into this rabbit hole, talk about past lives and
Yeah.
reincarnation, how many lives each of us have had, and all of the past traumas we may have experienced in those lives too can influence us now as well. Um, and again, if we're unintentional about being aware of all these things, then we just go about and we wonder why we're struggling all the time. But if you just have the awareness of it and you can reprogram yourself in the here and now to vibrate at a higher level, to energetically be more alive and more intentional, you can clear out a lot of those old traumas, whether they were yours, whether they were your grandparents, whether they were from past lives. Like, you can easily do the work to clear out some of those things that might be holding you back now, if you focus on the now and what you're doing now to do that.
Mm, yeah. Oh my gosh, such good points. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that, like, no matter what somebody has in mind for what they want for their life, this work will benefit them on all planes. It's like, even if your goal is for your business or for your body or for your relationship, um, it will benefit everything. And that's kind of the magic of it. So I do think that, like, in my own experience of manifesting, some of it has to do with intuition. And you clearly have, like, a lot of, you are very intuitive and you've worked a lot on cultivating your intuition. What would you say to people who feel out of touch with their intuition and want to do more of that work?
I believe everyone is intuitive. We all have different gifts, so it comes a little more naturally to some people. But it's a skill set, just like anything else. Just like you exercise your body and you can build muscle, you can build your intuitive ability too. People that feel like they are not intuitive, or they have no idea what their intuition is or how to tap into it, the thing is, they are probably experiencing intuitive nudges every day. They just don't know it because that ego, that voice of the subconscious, is so loud, and they're so used to listening to that voice that they're not able to tell the difference between what's intuition and what's just their imagination or what's their ego.
Mm.
So it takes some practice getting clear on what's intuition and what's not. There's definitely some meditation practices that you can do to clear your mind, to quiet that voice of the ego so that you're able to be a clear channel for receiving. That's really the process if you're going to learn how to tap into your intuition. Because if you have that mind chatter going on, those 70,000 thoughts a day, and it's nonstop, there's no way to figure out, like, where's the intuition coming from? What is an intuitive nudge? What is an intuitive impression? So it's all about your focus. Intuition is about how you focus your attention and your energy. And when you're able to slow down enough and disconnect from your body, disconnect from those thoughts in your mind, you're able to tap into this energetic field that we are all living in and experiencing life through. And in that field, which is how we manifest anyways, right? Everything is energy. So we're projecting energy and we're drawing energy in. But you can tap into this field and receive information. Your intuitive information can come in a variety of ways. There's the 5 clairs that are probably the most common. Clairvoyance, which is you might receive impressions through visions, whether it's a picture in your mind. And a lot of people think, oh, it's just my imagination. But it might actually be that you're receiving an image, whether it's from your guides, your angels, or just tapping into your higher self. Clairaudience. So some people hear the answer to something, like a message, either something that's guiding them in the right direction, or if they have a question to something that's going on in my life, what I need to do next, what's the next step in my business, what's this or that. Sometimes we receive it through a voice. You can receive it through claircognizance, which is just a knowing. You know, you ever get that feeling where you're like, oh my God, I just know. I know this is what it is. I don't know how I know it. I just know it. That's claircognizant. It's just like dropped right in. It is dropped right into your consciousness, and you're just suddenly aware of it. Clairsentience is the other way we receive information, and that's through the physical body. So sometimes you get goosebumps on your arms, or like the chills down your spine. Some people will actually feel physical pain in their body as well. So there's lots of ways that we can get physical sensations, and those are messages coming through. And then the 5th way is if you're clairempath, where you feel energy, you feel emotions of other people. You can pick something up and you can read information off of an object, whoever it has been connected to, things like that. So there's also that way. And you can develop any one of these. Some people have all of them. Like I have access to all of these types of intuition. Some people are really strong in one area, and maybe they receive all their information through hearing the answers. Other people, they just always see visions. You know, some people are super strong with clairempath and they're just constantly picking up other people's energy and emotions. But it can come in a variety of ways. So that's the other thing with intuition. You need to understand that the message is not just always going to come in like, oh, I heard the answer. You have to be open to receiving it from any one of these variations. And then once it does come in, being able to interpret it, because sometimes our intuition is very symbolic. It's not always literal. And so it takes a bit of a skill set. That is one of the things that I teach, because it's a little comprehensive. There's a little more to it. But when you master that, you have this guidance that is always there for you every day, helping you and moving you in the right direction. It's like having a personal assistant that just knows all the right answers. Right? Like we all want that, and you have it in yourself. Like everyone has the ability to do that. It's a skill set that you need to learn and then apply every day.
Yeah. I love that. And as you were going through all the different clairs, I was just like thinking about the different manifestations that they've had in my life. And I remember, and probably because we're talking, and for those of you who just joined us recently, Natalie and I are from the same hometown. And I remember being in middle school and having this vision of, I was in middle school. So like, of course, what was very important to me was like having a boyfriend or whatever. Like boys were very important. And I had this vision of like dancing with a boy. And like, do you know the little pagodas down by Carp Beach that have like the pavilions?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was there. I remember visioning it there in that area. And then I just realized that's where I had the before we say I do, like night before rehearsal dinner party for my wedding. And I very much danced with my husband there. Isn't that wild?
That's amazing. I love it.
So I just wanted to share that because I know you would get a kick out of it. And also to like give an example of how maybe it's like years in the future. Like that for me was like a long time ago that I first had that vision. And at the time I thought it was just like a desire, a dream. But now clearly that it was actually a vision of the future.
Yeah. Well, and that's what's so beautiful about this work as well, is when you're able to tap into the field, there is like the time space reality, everything is happening at the same time. There is no distance. So you can tap into, you know, information from the future. You can tap into information from the past, information in the present. And that's what this field does. It has so much knowledge and wisdom, right? Like it's this divine experience that we are all able to connect to on a certain level. And when you do, it's so interesting how there was a kid in my class whose name was David, and I'm like, oh, that's a really great name, David. And then I ended up marrying a David, not the same one, a different David. But there's just little random things like that. Like, oh, I always thought that was a really great name. You know? Who knows? It's
That's
just funny. It's
amazing.
funny the things that we tap into and don't even realize in decades later. And we're like, oh, I remember this connection that I had. Oh, I had a, you know, a dream about this. I knew this would happen 20, 30 years later.
So amazing. So,
Yeah.
okay, speaking of these kinds of things, what is the your most favorite thing that you've manifested
Oh,
intentionally?
intentionally. I guess my business and my husband.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I love what I do right now, and it took me a while to figure out my path. And it was kind of a roller coaster of a journey, but I'm really, really happy with where I am right now and with what I do because I mean, this is it. This is what I love to talk about. And this is what really drives me, helping other people manifest wonderful lives, manifest health, happiness, relationships, love, you know, all those things, and to feel really great and to be able to learn how to follow their intuition. And then with my husband, I mean, isn't it great when you manifest your your ideal partner, your soulmate? I
Yeah.
remember, you know, in my mid 20s, I used to write lists of the perfect man, you know, like that was like my manifestation journal thing that I would do. And when I first moved to Long Beach back in 2007, I wrote down a list of like everything I would want in a partner. At that point, I hadn't really officially dated, like had an official boyfriend for like 7 years. I had so much heartbreak when I was a teenager and in my early 20s that I just kind of cut it off. I was like, I am not comfortable being in relationships. There was just so much heartache that I had dealt with. And then finally, you know, I'm in my mid 20s. I was like, you know, I think it's time. I think it's time to create a relationship. I think it's okay. I'm ready to try again to be in a relationship. And so I sat down and I wrote all the things that I would want in my perfect man. And the funny thing was I ended up meeting my husband 3 months later. And we nothing happened at that point, but the second I met him, he walked in the door and it was like I heard the angels singing. I felt like the clouds parted and the sun was just shining in. It was like this, ah, and I was like, who is this man, you know? And and he had the same experience, but
Oh,
nothing happened. Like nothing happened for a couple of years. And our relationship was up and down for a long time. There was some timing issues. We both had a lot of lessons to learn about communication, about ourselves, about each other, about how to be there in a relationship and fully commit. And so even though it took a while, I actually met him a couple months right after I had done this manifestation exercise, which was kind of cool. And he really does meet everything on my list that I was looking for and wanted in a man. You know, it just took us a while to be in alignment, right? To be an energetic match to where it actually worked.
I love that. I mean, also,
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy for you. And I just want to speak to, like, I had a very similar experience where my husband and I met, and we didn't start dating until 3 years later. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that this brings up a really beautiful point of you can set the intention, you can put the alignment out there, and the universe will hear it and be like, yeah, I'm with you on it. But there still
Mm-hmm.
is like, it still has to fall into divine timing.
Yes.
And that's something that is really hard for me. Like, I'm a Capricorn. And so I'm very much like, want to do it now and want to be right on track. But I think um, part of the manifestation equation, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this too, has to do with trusting that like you do the work, you show up, you reprogram your egos you were talking about, and then it also you have to bring in that trust, right?
Oh yeah. trust is a huge part of it. Trusting in the universe, that everything will happen in divine timing, trusting that everything is always happening the way it's meant to, that everything is falling into place. And I believe that's really important. You also have to trust yourself to do the work, to show up every day, to create a better life, a better thought, a better emotion, a better feeling, to level up and, you know, work through the hard stuff, especially like talking about relationships. Relationships aren't always easy. You know, we have a lot of hangups from the past and from our childhood. We were constantly suppressed to stop crying, to stop this. And, you know, we've all got our crap from when we were kids, where we have these ideas around communicating. And so learning to be in a relationship and being ready for that, it took me a while, even though when I was, you know, writing my manifestation list for my husband, I was thinking, oh yes, now it's time. I think I'm ready. But I wasn't 100% ready, right? There was still a lot of fears, a lot of heartbreak that I was trying to heal. And I had to just trust the process. And we trusted each other enough to continue to come back to each other. You know, we dated on and off for a while, and things just kind of kept falling apart, but we kept coming back for each other because we both knew there was something more. We both knew it was right. And then once we were both ready, once the divine timing, we had both learned the lessons that we needed to learn individually and together, it was like, all right, this is it. And then we've been together ever since, and it's been great. You know, I mean, there's still things you work through in a relationship on a daily basis, but I was like, oh, okay. Once we were committed, it was fine. And everything worked out. But yeah, I think trusting in the timing is one of the hardest things for all of us. It really is, because we always want it now, right? And especially in the life we live in nowadays with like social media and Instagram, like everything is at the click of a touch. And if something takes 3 seconds to load, you're like, forget this. And so it's funny how we're just in this instant gratification type of energy now that we have technology. And we need to understand that the universe doesn't work that way. It can if you're totally ready. If you are so ready for something energetically and vibrationally, it will happen right away. You can totally manifest things very, very quickly. You can, you know, quit smoking at the drop of a hat. You can create things that you want. Like, stuff can happen faster than you ever thought if you are energetically aligned with it and it's the right timing for you. It's totally possible. But then there are other things that take a little longer, that take a little more work. We have to let go a little more, surrender a lot more, and do some more inner work around. And that's okay. Doesn't mean we're not going to get it. It'll happen, whether it takes a few months or a few years. Yeah. But it'll happen when it's meant to. And as long as you keep showing up for yourself every day and doing that work for yourself, you'll get there. You will. You just have to keep trusting that it's going to be there. Because the second you start doubting or questioning, and you're like, well, how am I going to get there? How am I going to get there? When am I going to get there? Then you start projecting to the universe doubt and confusion. And is it going to happen? I don't know if it's going to happen. Why isn't it happening right now? What can I do to make it happen faster? All of those thoughts and emotions. I mean, I even feel it when I say it right now. It just feels wishy-washy. And then the universe is like, well, now I don't know what to give you. Yeah. They're like, you said you wanted it, but now you're confused about it. So then it slows down the manifestation process. When you trust, when you're like, I'm just going to keep plugging ahead. I'm going to keep doing my meditations. I'm going to keep working on my business. I'm going to keep working on the self-love so that I can be a match for my perfect soulmate. When you're just trust the process and show up for it every day, that's when things manifest faster, because now you are giving the universe a clear message every single day. But if you don't have that trust, well, then you're wishy-washy. Yeah. And it's going to take longer.
That is so true, y'all. Like, I hope people are taking notes, because it's so true. And I like everything you're saying. I'm like, yes, I've experienced that. Like, yes, I know exactly how that feels. And it's just ringing really true with me. Like, for example, the house I'm in right now, which we bought 2 weeks ago, it was like above our price range, but I walked in and I was like, this is our house. And I just knew. And there was like all of these crazy things that kept coming up. We left the country for a month. You know, there was just like, there was a lot of craziness, like things going wrong, like inside the house. It just wasn't well cared for. It's a very old house from the 1840s. But I knew it was our house. And so no matter what was happening, I just was like, nope, this is our house. It's going to work out. It's going to work out. And sure enough, because of the things that were wrong in the house, the price went down so we could buy it. Mm-hmm. And we're able to fix it up, you know, in time to make it what we want it to be and function well. And I think, and I'm just sharing this so that like people understand that this is such a real thing. And you can absolutely have your dream house. You can absolutely have your dream business and your dream relationship. And like, it doesn't mean that life is perfect. It just means that life is what you want it to be. And you're acting in alignment with your purpose and your values. And it really is so magical. And, yeah, I'm so grateful to you for sharing all of this wisdom and always sharing your wisdom with me.
Well, I'm grateful for you too. I mean, you're already so amazing at manifesting and creating a lot of wonderful things. It's been awesome having this conversation and going deeper into a lot of these important facets to really understand more of the process and how you can start showing up for yourself every day to become a better, more intentional with your manifestation abilities. I truly believe everyone is a great manifester already. Like everyone is already doing it. It's not about being good or bad at manifesting. It's about being intentional and just showing up for it every day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. So where can people find you? Because I know people are going to want to like download your meditations now and start reprogramming their subconscious.
Yeah. Well, I hang out on Instagram a lot. So I'm here. It's just at Natalie Schlute, my name, pretty easy. My website is the same, natalieschlute.com. I do have a free download library on my website. And you just, on the bar, it's freebies. You just type in a username and password and you can download. I have like 3 guided meditations. I have a dozen different PDF downloads, workbooks that you can go through. There's affirmations you can put on your phone as your screensaver, on your desktop. There's all kinds of fun stuff. A whole bunch of videos. All of my favorite videos are on there that I think would help people a lot. So I have a ton of free resources. I'm on most social media channels, although I don't keep up with all of them. I do hang out here a little more often. But yeah, and then I've got services too. So if anyone's interested in coaching or courses, you can check out my services on my website as well. Whether you want some coaching in your intuitive work, intuitive success coaching. I have a manifestation series that I just created, a hypnosis manifestation series where we dig into your limiting beliefs. Like if there's one thing you want to manifest, we'll do a coaching session to figure out what's holding you back. And I will create a hypnosis specifically for you based off of everything that we talk about, off of your specific things. And then we have a couple follow-up sessions so that we can see how things are working so that you can actually reprogram your subconscious mind. And I do distance healing as well for Reiki and crystal grid healing, which is a really wonderful, beautiful process where I just tap into your energy field, create a crystal grid for you, do some Reiki energy work, and that we can do from anywhere as well. So yeah. And then of course my online course, which is open right now. I just opened it since we're in quarantine. I really feel like this is work that everyone needs. Like people need this stuff right now more than ever. And I used to do live launches, but at the moment I'm just keeping it open so that people can join anytime and get access to all this amazing information.
Oh, wow. Yeah. You have so many offerings and you've been like a mentor and a teacher to me for 20 years now, as we realize. It's so funny when you were talking earlier, I was remembering when we went to Kelly Clarkson concert.
Oh my gosh, I totally remember that. That was so fun. That was a great really concert. She was so good.
I know. She killed it. Yeah. But that must have been like, I don't know, 18 years ago, something like that.
Probably. Yeah.
Just wild. Yeah, but thank you. And I really hope that y'all go check Natalie out and follow her on Instagram because she's been a teacher and mentor to me for a long time and has so much love to share. So yeah, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you, Natalie.
Oh, thank you, Melanie. It's been an honor to be here with you. You're such a beautiful soul and I love your work and your mission. You know, just keep doing what you're doing because we all need a lot more self-love in the world.
I know. Yeah. And I think that I believe that we're all like in this collective pause. I think it's really a time of reckoning, and I'm hoping that a lot of people are waking up to the value of living with intention, like the work that you do and the practices that I do as well. So I believe that like there's a lot of beauty happening, and I think there's always beauty if we choose to look for it too.
Yeah, it really is a great time to go inward and do this work now that we have the time. We're forced to slow down and reflect.
Yeah.
It's meant to be. We're meant to do this right now. And if you
Yeah.
just go with it instead of resisting it, you'll have a beautiful, amazing process to
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you so much, Natalie, and I'm sure we'll connect soon. And yeah,
Definitely.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.